I need to get started with Botania. So let's go ahead and start with that. First, though, we're going to need the eccentric tome so that we can get the guide for Botania. So in order to reset the eccentric tome, we just shift, left click the sky. Lexica Botania. There we go. Alright, magic tech naturally. Botania is a tech mod themed around natural magic. The main concept is to create magical flowers and devices utilizing the power of the earth in the form of mana. The Lexica Botania is the repository of all knowledge for all botanical matters, but you probably already knew that. All well-known botanical knowledge is stored within these pages for convenience. If a block happens to have an entry here, it can be sneak right-clicked on with the Lexica Botania to open said entry. Any entries are based in italics are basic entries, which contain the core knowledge required to play Botania. You may want to read those first. Most sections contain one or more of the entries, so a good look through those would be a good idea. Basics. Welcome to Botania. I congratulate you on the fine decision to strap a sapling and a book together, or just from finding this tome in a chest, whichever applies. The first thing that we want to do is probably make a petal of apothecary. How do we make a petal apothecary? Let's find out. You're gonna need a Botania flower with 6 cobblestone. How do we get a Botania flower? Well, you're going to need a specific fertilizer called the floral fertilizer, and in order to make this floral fertilizer, you're going to need 4 RGB dye and 1 bone meal. Floral fertilizer, make that. Perfect. Put the bone meal away. The floral fertilizer is the only way you can grow these flowers. So, on a patch of grass blocks, right click, bam. Do it again. It's a good thing I made this platform made out of dirt. Pretty handy. Okay, we got plenty of flowers. Let's go ahead and break them. Now, what if we want to grow some flowers back? Well, what you want to do is place the flower inside the crafting table and you get petals. With these petals, they basically act like seeds, so right click on the soil. You don't have to you don't have to till the soil, you can just place it on a grass block, you'll get the shimmer. That means it's planted. You just wait until it grows. Now we want to make the petal apothecary, so go ahead and pull up the recipe. Gonna need 6 cobblestone with 1 Botania flower. Let's put it down. Bam. We got a petal apothecary. Perfect. Okay. Let's go ahead and place it down somewhere we have enough space. That is our main area. We kind of want to move this away from that. So let's go ahead and place it next to our other farm. Let's see. I feel like right here is a good spot. Anyways, next up. This block, when placed in the world and given some water by right-clicking or throwing in a water bucket, will accept any mystical petals thrown into it, absorbing the energies. Once the correct petals have been provided, throwing any seeds in will finalize the crafting process. All functional and generating flora are made here. For more information, read through the respective sections in this lexicon. Right-clicking the petal apothecary with an empty hand will remove the last item thrown in. If it's filled with lava instead of the water, the apothecary will serve as a brazier and incinerator in destroying any items that come into contact with it. Comparators can detect an apothecary's fullness. Since the petal apothecary can be filled by a drop water bucket, and dispensers can fill buckets, creating a system that automatically refills the water in the block shouldn't prove too difficult. A simple tip for the more efficiency-minded: up to 20 seconds after creating flour and after refilling the water, if you right-click the apothecary on it with an empty hand, it will put another set of the same ingredients out of your inventory for quick crafting in bulk. Oh yeah, this basically tells you how to make the petal apothecary. Let's see, so next up, we need... Oh, this tells you about the mystical flowers. They come in 16 different colors. We got a few of them already. What we could do now is plant a lot of them. Let's see over here. I don't mind planting these flowers. They look kind of nice inside the main area. I didn't want the petal apothecary there, though. Let's see, next up is the pure daisy. Far from being just the most basic, the pure daisy is the most important flower a botanist can have. This flower will purify any adjacent wood and stone blocks, as seen on the next page, into their purified counterparts, living wood and living rock. These resources are important crafting materials throughout a botanist's career. Just give it a minute or so. Okay, so let's go ahead and find out how to make a pure daisy. Pure daisy. So we need any type of seeds, water, in the petal apothecary. And you also need white petals, specifically white petals. So let's see, do we have that mystical white flower? We have the petals here. We need 4 of them. So let's go ahead and plant 2. Take the rest over there. Okay, so we also need water. So what do we do here? We don't have any water, do we? Let's go ahead and make an infinite water source. So there we go. We have water. Perfect. Pick that back up. And get rid of the buckets because we don't need that at the moment. Let's look back at the recipe. It needs seeds. Right, you want the wheat seeds to be the last thing that you place down inside of the petal apothecary. Whoa. Alright, hang on first. Let me solve this issue first. Put down 2 stack upgrades. Bam. Alright, problem solved right there. Let's go get some wheat seeds. What else do we need? Water, petals. Bam, we have everything we need in order to do this. So let's go ahead and go to the petal apothecary. Drop down 4 petals. What do I have in my hand? Flint. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 petals. Now we just need to drop the wheat seed. Bam. We have 1 pure daisy. How does the pure daisy work? Well, if you recall, we just surround it with wood or stone. So in this case, let's go ahead and use stone because it's the first one that I found. Place it around the pure daisy. And wait for it to do its magic. In the meantime, let's go ahead and make some more pure daisies. Where's my super suit? Right there. Let's go ahead and make some more. I believe you could use... Yeah, you could use a bowl. So, pretty good to know that. Let's see, you'll see a little animation, little effect. That means it's working. Hopefully. So, problem, we don't have any more white petals. So let's go ahead and see if we can make some more. All flower variants can be made manually by fertilizing a mystical flower or a buried petal with bone meal. Okay, so floor fertilizer is whenever you want to get any random flowers. So in this case, like this. Look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that look so cool? Alright, we're going to leave it like this. I'm going to put away the floor fertilizer. Let me go ahead and get some bone meal. Okay, bone meal. Let's go to the petal. Perfect. Look at that. Break it. Put it in the crafting. Bam. We can grow another one. Break it again. Place another one. Break it again. Plant again. Bone meal. Bam. Rinse and repeat. Look at that. Living rock. We can go ahead and break this. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and try logs. Surround the pure daisy with the logs. In this case, we're going to use colorless logs. And wait for the magic to happen. In the meantime, let's go ahead and make some more pure daisies. And then last, wheat seeds. Now, do we need this many? Yes. You will need a lot of living wood, living stone. Let's see, break the living wood log. Of course, don't want to... Okay, definitely watch out for that. Let's see, petal apothecary, pure daisy, runic altar. Runic creation is a complex topic, but an important one for the advancement of any botanist's career. However, this mode of crafting requires a firm grasp on the concepts of mana manipulation to use. Before proceeding further, read through the important entries, those in italics, in that section of the lexicon of Botania might prove helpful. Runes are vital components of complex magical devices or flora created on a runic altar. To use a runic altar, start by placing, either a right click or a simple toss the components of the rune you want to create upon the altar. So let's go ahead and see what we need for a runic altar. We're going to need a mana diamond. How do we make a mana diamond? We're going to need to infuse a diamond. That means we're going to need a mana pool, which you need 5 living rock to make. Alright, we made our first mana pool. How do we fill it? So, we might want to read that section of Lexicon Botania. We're going to need a generating flora, so in this case an endoflame. What is an endoflame? The endoflame is a very rudimentary generating flower. It'll absorb any combustible items or blocks dropped on the nearby vicinity, one at a time, and burn through them to generate a trickle of mana. The amount of time it takes to burn through an item is roughly half the time of furnace would. There's a few small caveats though. The end of flame will not burn anything that leave byproducts in furnaces, ergo lava buckets, which leave buckets behind. Furthermore, the flour can only burn around 2 blocks of coal worth of fuel at once. If any single fuel item with a longer burn time is used, its fuel efficiency will be lost. As the end of flame is often a botanist's first foray into proper automatable generating flora, it shouldn't be run manually forever, as the flour requires dropped items. An open crate found in the natural apparatus section of this book and some sort of output limiter would be ideal for it. So this basically tells you how to make that. So in order to make that, we need mystical brown petals, gray, and red. Let's go ahead and see if we have any in our pack. So we got red, brown, and that's light gray. Make sure you choose the right petals. Make sure to plant one as well, if you have the space at least. That's mystical orange. Plant mystical gray there, red there, and we have orange already. Brown there. Okay, we're gonna need 2 brown, so go ahead and drop the brown petals there. Next up, 1 red. And lastly, we need 1, said light gray. I'm the one that read that wrong. Okay, 1 light gray. And then 1 light gray, bam. Get out your wheat seeds, throw it in there. We made 1 endo flame. Now, how do we make that again? Well, again, you need a bowl of water, place that down, empty your hand, right click, ready to throw in the wheat seeds. Perfect. Let's do that one more time. Right click the pedestal, and throw in the wheat seeds. Alright. So that is the petal apothecary. Specifically the endo flame. So now you need to place the endo flame down. So let's go ahead and put that right there, right there, right there. But first, one thing you have to know is how do we configure the flowers so that they generate mana into the mana pool? Well, you have to understand how to make the wand for this. So how do you make the wand? Good question. Wand of the forest. A botanist's most important tool for manipulating flowers is the wand of the forest. This wand, crafted from a pair of mystical petals strapped to a few living wood twigs, is a must-have for the huge number of botanical tasks. The wand has 2 modes, bind mode and function mode. In bind mode, sneak right-click it on a compatible block is selected, then sneak right-click elsewhere to bind the 2 blocks. In function mode, it simply does not perform this function, freeing the sneak right-click action up for other tasks. The 2 modes can be switched between by sneak right-clicking the wand in the air. So you're going to need 2 petals with 3 living wood twigs. And in order to make that, you need diagonal living wood. So, good thing is right here. If you don't want to feel like an idiot, make sure you don't use a paxel that has auto smelt on there. I'm going to have to regrow my wood. Yep, I just did that, yeah. All these logs still need to wait on them, put 3 in the diagonal. And 2 petals on the side, wand of the forest. Perfect. Okay, so we have that. Now, the next thing we need is a mana spreader. We're going to need living wood logs and a petal, U-shape. Okay. Living wood logs and living wood logs in a U-shape sideways with a brown petal in the middle. It can be any petal actually, but you know, it is what it is. Let's put this on top of the endo flame. And bind mode on the wand of the forest, right click, sneak right click on the endo flame, point to the mana spreader on all of them, and then on the mana spreader, you want to direct it to the mana pool. Alright, so now all of these should have the mana spreader highlighted. Perfect. And now you gotta feed. You gotta feed them. So let's do that. Aren't you a hungry little guy? Don't be shy. Okay, slowly. That's gonna fill up the mana pool very, very slowly. So definitely want to check out the generating flora section to see if there's any other flowers that might suit your needs. In my case, I prefer having the flower that consumes your levels, because at a certain point you could easily just get experience points from a mob farm. But I'm not at that point yet, so we're gonna ignore that for now. How do we get carrots? That is the main reason why I wanted to start Botania, which I probably should have mentioned in the beginning, but it is what it is. So we put wheat seeds in a mana pool with on top of an alchemy catalyst, and you get a potato. Alright, so how do you make an alchemy catalyst? You need a mana pearl, which you need ender pearls to put in there. Ender pearls, you need 7 cyan to 1 green. So let's go ahead and get that. Okay, so OBS crashed, so part of the video got cut off at the end. So we were trying to make ender pearls because we needed mana pearls for a alchemy catalyst. So what we went is we got 7 blocks of cyan to 1 green. We made a lot of ender pearls. And now that we have ender pearls, we can make the mana pearls. So we just look at the mana pools and see that we have enough mana to convert it. Drop it in there, bam, we have more mana pearls. But the problem with this is that now, the last ingredient that we need is brewing stands. Or the 1 blaze rod, 3 cobblestone. Now the problem is we haven't actually been to the nether yet, so I think that's where we're going to end it for today. Thank you for watching. If you like these types of videos, let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, you know all that. We're going to go to the nether next time. Let's see. But yeah, I can't believe we did all that. Oh my god, it's so colorful. Anyway, yeah, that's all. See you next time.